Missar jag knappen eller? Nej.
Jan,
How are you doing, Albin?
Hello, Jan. Here you are.
Oh, no.
No, you're back.
Hello.
Well, I think it was a delay after the video.
I'll do it again. Hello and welcome to Wikipedia Weekly Network. Here we're Albin Olofsson and I, Jan Ainali, are editing Wikidata Live. How are you doing, Albin?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jan?
I'm great as well. A little bit cold because I haven't really figured out how the thermostat goes in this new apartment. So it goes on, I think if I figured it out now, like in 30 minutes. So just when I'm done, it's going to start heating up here. Well, but I guess you have it a little bit colder than I do.
It's about 5 degrees minus.
All right, yes.
I hope it will be a little bit colder so I can go ice skating soon. But I really like it. It's not a winter wonderland, really. But it's white and really nice in the mornings and such.
Very nice. And will you be doing any winter or glacial things related today?
No.
No?
I will not.
What do you have planned?
I'm interested in like the history of properties and like how things are added to property over time. And we got on the property pages a little bit of a graph on that. And I wonder can we have that data somehow? So I was thinking about looking at various tools and trying to figure out how such information is tracked or not tracked. Yeah. And you, Jan?
I was thinking about the graphs result view because I don't think we have really featured it when we have been doing this. I think we have shown it once or twice, but not really done a deep dive. So that's my plan today, to build something of that from scratch and see what we can do with it.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I'm just going to hit retoot here on your own cast thing, and then I'm going to get started. And I'll share my screen. And of course, to use the graphs result view, we will need to do some sort of querying. So, and what I want to try to do today is I want to show off how a couple of streets are connected. So let's start in that end. So let's start with selecting street where, and we call it street, an instance of P38, 31, which is instant. And then here I'll use the autocomplete because I don't know this one by heart, but 79007 seems so street there. But of course, I can't select all the streets because that's going to be just too many to work with. So I'm just going to go with the streets who are, and I think it's place. Let's see. Location. But here's a very good where the control space is really useful. You don't really know. You write something and it picks it up anyway. So this is the one I want. And I'm going to go for a small Swedish town, Visby. I think that will give me a decent amount. So let's just see. Oh, and this one wants an ending here. How many we have to work with? Let's see what that does. Oh, so we have 64 streets. I want a few more. So let's try this property path with subclasses of streets as well. So we do a slash and subclass and star here too. I think this is going to give us alleys and a few of these as well. Takes a lot longer time. I think there's might be many different kinds of streets, but 130, that seems all right. And of course, here we have the regular table view, which is not very nice. Not very nice. It's very useful, rather. what I'm going to say is, but if we scroll down here, we do have the graph. And if I click that one now, all of these will just pop up as bubbles. And this is not super useful at all, because for now, it's just one thing here. So, and also this doesn't look very nice. So let's see if we can add the label here. And I think that will just work out of the box. So go with street label. And then we have to add the service. Control space to get this list. And I think it's the third one here. Let's just go with that and see what we get. And I think this will be a little bit better, but still it's not going to have any relations. But here we first have the label of the street and the thing. And then if we go to the graph here, now at least they seem somewhat readable. But if we zoom out here, they're just going to be totally like it's not really a use of this view here. So what we need to give here is another column, and hopefully where these have some sort of connection to each other. And one way to do that, I think, there's a property called, and I think in English it's terminus, which sort of like, well, one street ends in another one. And I think for this specific town, we have a lot of that data added. So we can actually get a few connections. But then, of course, not all streets end in a street, and we don't want to get rid of the ones that doesn't. So I think we're going to make this an optional. So let's see if we do an optional here and do street. And I don't remember this, but I think it's terminus. And let's see if we find something not towards this one. This is also weird that even though I spelled it exactly right, it's the second one. And we're going to call that end for simple. And then we'll add the end up here. And we can have the nice little label as well. Let's just see what we get with that. I think that's going to give us something at least. And we shouldn't get fewer results since we had this is an optional. Instead, we can have more results since we have one street have two ends and both can be given. And here we see a typical one. So this street, Strandgatan, the beach street, ends in this street and in this street. So somehow these should be shown as connected in the graph here. So let's see if we go to the graph, and we can see there's a lot of different ones. And then, of course, there's going to be few that has one empty. So they will.
It's a little bit odd when it has two empty.
Did we have any of these?
No, maybe not. No, it just looked like it.
Well, I think we can have it because it could be something that is sort of not properly added yet in Wikidata with terminus.
Exactly.
So they will then, I think, be hanging loose in the graph still because we didn't add anything. So, but let's see if we have any of these. But those should be easy to spot if we go to the graph here.
Nice trick.
And it'll be rendering. And here we see something building. And let's see if I can zoom in here so you see something. And we also get a nice little arrow. So I see, which in here, in this case, this street ends in this and this. And here we see a sign of this being sort of like a central street or something in this little town. And I think this is a long street which goes through, and a lot of different alleys are starting or ending in it. And I think we have a few of these. I think like Mellangatan should also, the middle street down here is also similar. It's very long and a lot of things go up and down from it. And did we see any loose?
No.
No real loose, but a couple of them with only one.
Yeah, it looks like snow loose.
Yeah. No, here we do have two loose in the middle. Yeah, they couldn't escape out on the ends. And I'm not sure exactly how this sort of plops it out, but then I think there's some sort of mathematics that stabilize them. Is this one also loose? Yes. All right. So we have three loose here in the middle that hasn't been connected yet to anything. Oh, we have one over here as well. And I think these should all be able to be connected to at least one. It seems plausible.
In Visby, especially.
Yeah. So this is a little bit, and of course now, this isn't really a geographic view of this, but it's sort of like more of how can you call it? A relational view of the city. We can see something of like the connectivity.
A network graph.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, well, literally a network graph. Yeah. Yes.
but maybe that's just me thinking in those terms.
Yeah. But somehow we can see that some streets are more connected to others or from others. So this can give you a very different thing. But then there's also a few more tricks up on what this actually can do. And one thing to show this, I think if we open this as a new, no, that wasn't that one I wanted to go to the help portal on Wikidata. We can close this one. And now I'll take me here to the Swedish one, but I think there's something here. Let me switch quickly to English for you, so you can follow me along on this trip. Here, we do have a help page for these result views, and getting here, I would like there to be a direct link from. Maybe there is.
I think there is.
Ah! All right, so that's the easier way. Go directly to this little help thing, and it will take you to the help page for these views. And let's go to the graph one here. And we already sort of used the item, and here it says the first item in a row out with an arrow pointing to the items in the same row. So you can even have more columns if you want to, and then it will still try to connect them. And right now we used the label. We didn't read here. We just used the label and it used it. And since these are streets, I think this is a pretty well photographed town. Let's see what Commons Media does here. So we'll do another optional. Optional. And again, we'll go with street. And we'll go with image. That's P18. We just call that image. And we'll pop it up here and see how that will actually look. And here we see they pop up here, and it's recognized as an image format, so we get this little nice icon. That will also enable not the image grid here as well. And let's see how it looks in the graph. And I think this might take a little time to load. Or didn't we have more images? This seems odd.
Yeah, this seems odd.
Let me switch back to table. How many did we have? No, we have for almost everyone.
Yeah.
Let me switch back. Graph. Are these the same that we had last time? Seems very odd.
I think they are the same. If you give the page a proper reload, what happens then?
A reload here?
Yeah. And then rerunning it.
So reload.
Just in case.
Go there.
I'm not gonna ask you to turn off your computer after this.
No.
This is the only test I want.
See if it clears something. It's the same ones popping up. I wonder now. I wonder if this order matters. Let's see if I pop it in here. This I haven't tested before. And this is. And of course, the results should be exactly the same. It took a little bit of different time. I don't know why that is.
The cache was broken when you changed the.
Yeah.
Is it still the same?
Yeah. Oh, wait. We see. No, here they come.
That makes sense.
So almost. I wonder then, did we see the images for the end ones? I don't know. But what's a little bit hard with these is it's almost harder to see. No, we still see the arrows. All right.
If you zoom out again?
Yeah.
Oh,
this is an interesting thing.
Yeah.
But I was curious. I wonder now if I put image here as well. This shouldn't change the result, I think. This should just be duplicate.
You should get an error, yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyway, one thing that I forgot here is that we of course also have the default views. And since every time here I have flipped to the graph, well, let's go for the graph here. And then now if I go here, I don't need to flip it over down on this. Instead, it should be rendering the graph immediately if it works out. And now it took less time since it was cached, but it still had to. All right. So that's very good. I wonder. Oh, let's check this. So it says here, of course, like it just needs to be the data type commons media. So it doesn't need to be specifically P18. It could be any of the ones we have. So I think there's something. Is it called nighttime view? Night. Let's go with night. Nighttime view. And just see how many of these streets have a night image. And we'll see the what it will look like at this hour, I guess. Because it's pretty dark right now. Only one? Seems like there's only one.
Zoom in again. I think there should be more than one.
I think there could be more than one also, but for the other ones, there's sort of at least the image was gone and then it popped in later. Okay. So maybe it's just one.
If we change to the table view, where we have like the truth.
Yeah. Yes. That's good tip. And if I sort these, all right, so there's only that one.
Oh.
It's the same one going in and out. All right, so that didn't help much, but there might be other cities where you get other results.
Everyone in Visby needs to go out right now and snap a photo.
Yes. I removed it. There we go. All right. But there's also the possibility to color these, the bubbles. But then we can't really have the images because we can't color the images, but we can color the bubbles. And of course, then we have to assign something to the variable RGB. So let's try to do that. So let's pop in RGB here in the top. And we'll bind something for RGB. But what will we bind? I think we will bind something. Is that how you need to do it? No, that's not how we need to do it. I think. No, it is like that, right? And then I'll pop something in there. No. Like this, right? And now I want to bind here. I want to bind them on what kind of type, because we saw we had a lot of streets, but we also had some other subclasses. And that might be fun to see who are alleys and who are other things and so forth. So if type is something, and we'll say if it is the street we had here, we'll make it RGB. We'll make it green if it's, and if it's not that, we'll make it blue, I guess. Let's even do it like this. We make it this a nested one. So if it's not a street, then we'll check again if type is alley. And I don't know what alley is, so let's see what alley is. Narrow street there. And if it's alley, we'll make it blue. And if there's anything else, we'll make it red. RGB 000099. And then else 990000. Close that if, close that if. 1, 2, 3. I think that's correct. But now, of course, we don't have the type up here, so we'll have to assign that or get it. So we'll go again here and go street P31 type. So we'll actually, and then I think this one we're not going to use up here. We're just going to use it here. So let's run this. I'm actually going to remove this now just to see that we get the values first. Or if I broke something. And if I did this right now, everything should have a color value. Because if it is not the street and not an alley, will automatically be red, and that will be like any other type or no type, I think, even. Took quite a lot longer time, but we got there. And it looks like we have values here. Are they all the same? 0009. Do we have any others? Oh, there we have some 9 in the ends. All right, so let's see. This should pop out fairly good if we do it in a graph here. this also looks weird.
Yeah, and if you
We had a
zoom,
lot more image colors in there.
yeah, everything should have a color, right?
Yeah, there were none empty just before this. There's something going on with the...
Yeah.
Let's switch back to the table. Do
And
we have any...
none of the hex values are wrong. They're all valid.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too. They're all within the span. And they're all correct length, I think. 6, 6, 6.
Yeah.
And we had, if I flip back to this one, we have green. That's the one in the middle, RGB, and we have a red here. We didn't get anyone with the B in the end. Yeah. So we got the streets. This is very odd.
Yeah, it looks like a bug in the visualization.
And the weird thing was when I was testing this before, it was actually going fine.
That's why it's not working right now.
Could it be, for some reason, a Firefox thing? I'm just... right, I'm going to stop sharing this screen. How do I stop screen? And then start sharing the same query. Or not, it's not exactly the same. I have the will it come? There it will come. I have the colors in a different order.
Ah.
But here we have them all colored, and then there's a few that are only ends, and they don't get a color. So we only have the ones that are starting somewhere, or like are in the left column. So this one is an odd way, and I haven't figured out how to get the color to those yet. So I think this is a Chrome Firefox weirdness, because this is in Chrome now, and here we got all the things.
Interesting.
Very interesting. But that shouldn't really matter. I'm going to put the graph back into the query here, and then share the query with you so that you can play along from here. I'll put that in. I think I put that first as a comment and then as a thing in for the screen to save. So we'll post that as a comment here to all. Then I'll make a banner out of it. Create a banner. And we're maxing out on banners. Create a new banner.
I can also show the comment.
That's smarter. Yes, do that.
Here we go. There we
go. So that's what I wanted to show today. So a little bit of a graph building and few of the basic things that it has. And it has a few other things. It also has, if you add a number in a column, the size of the bubble will change size, but I couldn't find a good example here. A few of the streets has number like elevation meter over
Could you do the number of connections to indicate that this is a major street?
Oh yes, then I could count it myself.
Yeah.
To do that. Yes. Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah,
but you can also select. Yeah, but you could also.
So.
What I would hoped was that they had the length in them. That would be also very nice.
True.
But
one
No
or
one
two
of these
has it.
streets had it. No.
No one.
But
Okay.
no, but a couple of them had elevation over sea level. So, but it was the few to do. And then there's also a possibility to give the arrow an edge label. So you can have sort of like, if you want to manually write what kind of relation they have or something like
Yeah.
that.
I
Or
was just as I saw the
yeah.
documentation, there was already thinking like we need a color for the edges as well for the arrows,
Ooh,
because
that
they
would
are
be a
also
nice.
in a very light gray one, so they kind
Mm-hmm.
of tricky to see when you're
Mm-hmm.
approaching middle age and this man. Um,
Well, not for you then. For me. All right. So at least that was my today.
okay, and I got something completely different, and here we are. It's a property. A regular property page here for a museum, an external identifier, and what I'm interested in, like the edit history of this. How many external identifiers for this property was it at a specific time, and how do we query that data?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we even query it? And if we do, how painful is it? Okay, gonna make sure I got you guys on one part of my screen like that. Okay, so first of all, we actually got a little bit of this for free already, so to say, because we got this usage history query which is linked to, and usage history main statement. So I'm gonna start by having a look at both of those. Let's first let it run, then we can have a look at the query, see what's actually going on. And here we are. We can see this one starts at 4 months ago, almost 5, and it keeps going. And we can actually see the count here. We see the particular day and the number of items that had this in any part of the item. It could be a reference, it could be a qualifier, and so on. So 40k, it's around 40k all the way. And then here there is like a gap down to, I assume, 0. Something went wrong. And back up again. But it's a little bit of a gap in time here, I imagine. So this is 26. This is well, what's the date format here? Okay. And yeah, this is what was the date format again? It's the middle one.
Does it really drop to 0, or is there something wrong?
Yeah, there is something wrong here. But
All right.
there's also a gap in time here
Mm-hmm.
where it isn't any data.
Mm-hmm.
So this was for all of them, no matter where. This is for main statement, and of course this is a property that is more or less only used in main statements. That is why this looks exactly the same. But let's use one of this and have a look at the Spark query itself. So this is what it looks like.
Oh.
And if we go down here, we can quickly see, or you might be able to see what's going on. This is actually querying page revisions and various timestamps for that. And it's super interesting. I'm not gonna go into all of it, but what's super interesting is that this is actually based on a template. And the template itself is updated once a day, or when everything works, it's updated once a day. So if we go, I think we should just be able to go to edit source here. Yes. And here is the magic behind this. So every day, this page is updated with the property number. This is P6, and how many users it have. And each day it's updated. It's really long, of course, so it doesn't even reload properly here. But then that query is walking over the history of this page. That's what's going on. So if there is a day when the bot didn't work or something like that, we're gonna have missing data. And first of all, it is really hard to query Like
Mm-hmm.
this is tricky. There's no other way to say it. So in practice, it's picking up the property number here, and then it's doing a regular expression over this to find it. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna try to find it because it's really far down. And for each of the revisions, it pulls out the information. Um, really simple. And I'm incredibly glad for whoever created the bot actually gathering this data in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Without it, we would be in a much trickier spot. So what I wanted to play with is like, what other options do we have to query this? Or to what extent can one modify this query for different time range and time ranges and things like that? So I'm gonna play around a little bit with this. But first I wanted to try out this. There is this recent changes tool, VDRC, or Wikidata recent changes API. And it just happens to have this query by properties. So I wanted to like see what it can do. It's a little bit behind Wikidata, 20 days currently. But let's give it a try. So query by properties, which I imagine is what we want to do. And this is also querying changes rather than like a quantitative measurement. So here we would, for example, say added, and we would just get the various items that has had this property added to it over time. So let's give it a try. Haven't tested this, so bear with me. So this is in August. No, of course not. July. And let's get some HTML from this and use the ones added. That was really quick, at least. So according to this, we would, okay, first of all, there's a lag involved here, of course. And so this is October. And then we got some September here. But for example, it doesn't seem like there was anything added in August, according to this. And of course, there is a big cutoff here. And I imagine because all of this are like really close in time, I think this is an import. So it could be that it's actually cut off here because it's a small import otherwise. But I do not know. So let's see if we change that date. If we do get more, let's change it to 22. Interesting. We get the same total number. I wonder if that's a limitation. How many are there? Q, if I search 26. This is the nice little trick, by the way, if you ever need to count Q numbers somehow. Do it with the find word in your browser. 26, and I assume this is also the same 26. Yes, it says 1 of 26. Okay. Then that's probably not how we're gonna do it. Interesting. Is there a way we can just confirm that we can't get more? And if I'm just gonna try this different one to see if we get 26 once again.
It's also odd because that was 2022 July.
Yeah, exactly. I changed it to
So you
2022.
should have much more.
Maybe if I take down the precision, it says shorter allowed. I imagine that's precision. We can actually run multiple. No, it's the same. But this take way longer, so I imagine it's doing something else here. So maybe it's a bug here. We could try JSON NL as well, just for the sake of it. No, it's 26.
If you try another query or property, and just see if that's
Great.
that one that's bugging out. Not sure.
P6 is an early one. I don't know what it is, but I think it exists.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here we get way more. This is interesting. Then maybe this is actually a way to do it. And it's just for this property, it doesn't work. Okay, so this could be a way to query for the information I'm after.
Do you want to try P10? That one is interesting because that's video. How often do we add videos to the items?
Yeah.
Oh, it's quite a bit.
I think it starts with the oldest first, or is it the newest first? 10. Yeah, it's. So this is the most recent ones. And it's 20 days behind as well. But it's quite common. It happens not every day, but a few times a week.
This one would be a nice little feed to follow.
Oh, yeah. The video one could be like content discovery almost.
Yeah.
True.
Could you share the URL in the banner?
Yes, to the tool, of course.
Yes. And I think we're full of banners. I'll delete one here, an old one, so you can add a new. There we go. Now we should have a...
amazing. And there we go.
There we go. Oh, thanks.
Okay, that's interesting. I also want to try the manual way here. So we can see 10. We got 12,000 today. But if okay, this page has completely hanged. Let's go to that one manually. Okay. No, okay, it did work. So we saw there 12,000 today, so we could go.
Yeah.
Let's go back a year at least. A little bit more, okay. So let's have a look at this one. Oh, it's a template. That's what. Yeah, okay. So then we can see 7,000. So this is also a way, like I'm currently doing it manually, and this is what that query we saw did. But in case you just want like the statistics of a property you're very interested in, you could go to this page, and it's not even hanging currently. So we could actually take this. If we search for 2539, which is the National Museum that I was interested in, we can see it say almost 30,000. Okay, and that's a year ago, because now we are in the historic one. So that's super interesting. Maybe that's the best approach currently. Although that sometimes it's tricky to know if it was actually updated for a day, or if it wasn't just that number. Because we could see that there were some gaps, and sometimes it was even 0.
How does the diff looks on these?
That is a great question.
Is it readable even?
I'm gonna take one here by the PL bot, which I assume seemed official.
All right.
Okay, it's somewhat readable.
Yes.
So we can, okay, if we scroll down here, the first one that didn't, according to this, have any changes is 65, 78, 85. Okay. No, this is very readable, I think. It would be nice if someone wrote a user script or something that showed, like, did it go up or down?
Per line, yes.
You're saying? um, okay. I'm actually gonna share this template because this one I will be coming back to. So I'm gonna create a new banner, and here is where you find it. And it's a template, so to actually see the information, it's not rendered here. You need to go to edit source, and here is where you actually see the information. Amazing. Let's have a look at these queries. So if we wanted to change the property, we can see the number here in a couple of places, and I'm just gonna assume does it. If you want to be really sure that you're editing the right thing, either go to that property and click on a link to this, or search for it like this in your browser. But I'm kind of interested in like the timeline we saw. So if let's run this, but have the query still around. Is this actually occurring all the time? It's a little bit over a year back, but I think the query or the property is much older. So I wonder if we can do anything to fix that. And will it time out? So first of all, it's really tricky to navigate sideways here. Oh, this is also interesting. It only queries for changes made by the PL bot. And this is, of course, using the MV API extension, which actually queries the MediaWiki API rather than doing anything with RDF behind the scenes.
And we have a few videos with simpler uses of this. So if you just want to get into how you use that, and I think even we have a couple of them when we use time series of page views or something. So
yeah,
but quite a lot simpler than this very complex example.
Indeed. So if contains, let's see here. This is the regex trying to select something in the actual page contents, and that just bound. This is bound as the property. This is bound as the regex. Down here we got a reference to R1 or R1, and we got a bunch of dates. That's because we are using this over here and includes that somewhere. Let's see, where do we have an include here? No, we are repeating this over and over again for 10 times. But why 10 times? That I'm not sure of. The answer is, of course, to remove one and see what happens. So now we're just doing 9. And let's see if I made something terrible, which errors out here. We get 88 results. Of course, I don't remember how many we got in the first place. 98. So we're losing about 1/10 of them. And
so
if
maybe
I only
each API call gets 10. for some reason.
Yeah, we get the last 100. Let's have a look at the precision here. That's almost a year ago. That is almost today. So we're only, if we change that, we're only losing in precision. We're not changing the actual timeline. Since when did Sparkle get so hard? Is there a limit in the API why we can't have a different timeline? I mean, I don't think so. We can query all the revisions.
Yes, but you have in the call there MV API RV limit 10.
Yes.
So that's getting only 10 revisions, right?
And then we got a Wikibase limit here as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's try change one of them. And see, I imagine this doesn't do anything because we have 10 things going on here. We're looking at the 10 first outputs.
Yeah, so you would have to do a very, very long query.
But we can try.
And maybe that's why it's done like that and then repeated over 10 includes.
Yeah. Maybe. Let's see. We still get 10 results here. And they still start at the same time. Okay. Let's instead change this wiki base limit. I may be doing terrible things here when I change it to 100, but let's give it a try. I imagine they aren't doing the same thing. Because one is specifying API parameter and one is doing something else. Because essentially what I'm after here is how do I see much longer timelines. So when we're currently looking at it, it's just a flat line at around 40,000.
Yeah.
I want to see when did it start becoming so many. And currently what I would do is to manually look here for the various.
Mm-hmm.
I would, okay, what about a year back, and then search and have a look. And I do not want to do that. Mainly because I'm lazy, but also because it would be incredibly practical to. Oh, look! Something happened. We succeeded.
No.
Okay, so the current version of this query does two things differently. It's fetching more of something. We're increasing the timeline just by changing the Wikibase limit. And we have taken down the precision a bunch, which is probably needed. I could imagine this bringing this back here. Not. Let's see. This back here would now make that this times out. It also took a lot of time already.
57 just.
Just about the right time. But this is what I'm after. This is super interesting because now I can actually see that, okay, January, let's double check that. Yes, January 2 years ago, it was a big jump. And we can see a couple of big jumps in this. So we can clearly see some imports happening. And I think this is super interesting because I imagine you can see a couple of things here. Also than just the import. I can imagine that the first imports you are doing are quite easy. It's well-known people or objects and things like that. But then you're starting like seeing a long tail effect. Like these items are really hard to match. They might just work as much on matching them, but it just got a lot harder. It's not here. They might have imported like royalties. I imagine this is, let's double check what property I'm talking about. No, okay. This is about actual artworks. No, I lost myself. So here is its really famous artwork, super easy to match, and here it starts to be the really tough ones, which are incredibly hard to match or even need new items. And this is the type of thing I'm after. I want to try this last thing with one more property. Instead of actually doing this artwork property I use now, I want the one they have for authorities. Let's see.
It's not listed there.
Property. Yeah, I think it is. Um, could it be this one?
Yes.
Here we go. And now I need to prove that I know how to do this as well. Just removing the. And no, maybe it times out because of this. Maybe, yes, it should do. Hmm. Sorry, query service. It was not my intent to do that. Yeah, okay, we got a minute here. Anyone got something to talk about?
So yes, I do. I'm gonna show, instead of this banner we have up now.
Yeah.
We have this one on our previous episode. So if you want to go back, we have a page on MetaWiki where we have some sort of the topics in a big table. And I think if you search for MW API there, you will see other, or maybe just API, you will see the other times we have been using this tool. So if you want to go back and do one of the easier ones. It did time out anyway? No?
No, this was the big one where I didn't change the precision.
Yeah,
we got high precision. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
We know now that it doesn't work. But here it is, Doja one. We just change the precision once again. And I think we can see the same type of effect here. Someone started matching a lot of things here. And then it got harder and harder, but you can still see like small jumps every now and then, indicating that through all of this growth, someone is working on it actively.
Yeah.
But it just gets a lot harder in them.
Yeah, and these small jumps might even be just like one person being very dedicated a day, because it's still in the maybe in the order of 100 or something you could do manually. But that jump, how much that is,
it's almost 1,000.
No, it's just going from almost 1,000. That might be hard for doing manually. So there's probably some tool helping there.
Yeah,
or an editathon or something.
Yeah. But this is what I wanted. I'm really happy with this result. It was a little bit of a struggle, I must say, but it is possible to change that query.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna share this one as an example, and then you're gonna end up needing to compare it to. Oh no, it's one of those.
Oh, is it too long? But we already shared the link to the template and from the.
Yes.
No, wait.
If you're on any property, go to its discussion page. Scroll down to the amazing list of things, lists of lists almost, and go to usage history. This is the query you want to modify. And this exists for any property. And if you want to change the precision, you remove this part. And if you want to increase the timeline, you change this number over here. There we go.
Yeah.
And with that, I think I have figured out what I wanted to figure out today.
Very nice. So, and I hear my bell ringing here as well. So right on time. We're not sure if we're going to be back next week, but we are sure that we're going to be here for the Wikidata modeling days, and I think that's the first weekend of December, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But either way, until we meet again, happy editing.
Happy editing.